What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be predicting where College Gameday will visit each week next season. They have already confirmed that week 1 will visit College Station for Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. The Mike Elko era begins at Texas A&M with a game day appearance against a top 10 Notre Dame team. Kyle Field should be a packed house for this game, and this game is going to be crucial for both of these teams. This will probably be a top 25, top 20 matchup. Texas A&M could desperately use a win in this game if they want to start off the Mike Elko era hot, but Notre Dame can't really afford to lose this game either if they want an easier path to the playoff. Notre Dame will probably have to go 10-2 or 11-1 to make the playoffs, and losing to Texas A&M is going to hurt their chances. This game will be a huge opportunity for Riley Leonard and that Notre Dame offense to get going early in the season, and I am definitely excited for this matchup. I'm predicting the Week 2 game day appearance to be Michigan versus Texas. This seems like the obvious option for the game day appearance week 2. This is going to be an incredible showdown. Texas and Michigan both made the playoffs last season. Michigan won the national championship. Michigan lost a lot more talent than Texas did. Texas returns Quinn Ewers at quarterback. They also returned 4 offensive linemen and some key pieces on the defensive side of the ball. Texas is an early favorite in this game at around 3 points. But don't count out Michigan's defense in this game. Donovan Edwards should be a beast at running back. This should be a fun week 2 matchup, and I could see this game going either way. For week 3, I think game day will visit Wisconsin versus Alabama. Now, they could go with Kentucky versus Georgia for this week. If they really want views, they could go with Colorado versus Colorado State. But I do think it would be interesting to see Madison, Wisconsin host a game day appearance against the top 10 Alabama program with the new head coach in Kalen DeBoer. This is Kalen DeBoer's first real test as the Alabama head coach. Wisconsin could be a tough road environment. Wisconsin is a solid defensive team, and they really have a lot to prove with head coach Luke Fickell. I really think this should be the game to host game day week 3 because it's a very interesting matchup in my opinion. For week 4, I think Oklahoma State versus Utah should be the game day appearance. I know there's some other solid options for week 4 like Michigan versus USC, but I don't see Michigan hosting game day twice early in the season. Utah and Oklahoma State is a potential Big 12 championship game, and I think they're going to mix it up a little bit and go with that game. This should be the game day appearance in my opinion, and Utah returns Cam Rising at quarterback. Cam Rising led Utah to back-to-back Pac-12 championships in 2021 and 2022. Oklahoma State made the Big 12 championship game last season as well. They are top 5 in the country for return and production, and a lot of people are sleeping on this Oklahoma State team. This should be an incredible game, and I'm definitely hyped for that matchup. I'm very certain that Alabama versus Georgia will be the Week 5 game day appearance. This will actually be Kalen DeBoer's first SEC game as the Alabama head coach. Kirby Smart and Georgia have struggled to beat Alabama. This might be the most important game of next season, and imagine the storylines that could come out of this game. This is a potential SEC championship game. They played in the SEC championship last season and it really had high stakes. Georgia lost 1 game last season and they missed the playoffs because of it. And I have a feeling this game in 2024 is going to have big stakes again. Ultimately, it won't have the same stakes as before because there is now a 12-team playoff, but I'm still very excited for this game. I think the Week 6 game day game will be Florida State versus Clemson. They could go with Washington versus Michigan, which is a national championship rematch from last year, but Washington is going to take a big step back. Clemson and Florida State played in a classic last season. This game has massive stakes in the ACC, and Tallahassee hosting game day would be a lot of fun to see. I do think Florida State versus Clemson deserves the Week 6 game day appearance. DJ Uiagalelei transferred to Florida State. He originally started his career at Clemson, so this game is going to be very interesting. Week 7 is a jam-packed week of college football, but there is no bigger game than Oregon versus Ohio State, and that is definitely the game that is going to host game day that week. This will probably be a top 4 matchup, and who knows, maybe it will be the number 1 team versus the number 2 team. This might be the game of the best offense in college football, Oregon versus the best defense in college football, Ohio State. This could be a potential preview of the Big Ten championship game. These teams played back in 2021, and it was an incredible game. Oregon upset Ohio State on the road, and could we see the roles reversed this time with Ohio State upsetting Oregon on the road? I could see this game go in many ways, but this is going to be a showdown of 2 elite teams. And similar to Week 7, Week 8 has a very big matchup, and that game is Texas versus Georgia. Similar to the Oregon versus Ohio State game, I'm certain this will be the game day appearance. This game is going to be a huge showdown of 2 national title contenders. This will be a game of possibly the 2 best quarterbacks in the SEC and in college football, Carson Beck versus Quinn Ewers. These are two of the biggest leaders at quarterback in the sport. This is a big opportunity for Texas to prove themselves as well. They are heading into year one in the SEC, and Steve Sarkisian is trying to make a name for himself as a head coach. And there's no better way than knocking off Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. This game might just be the biggest game of next season. Texas will have this game at home, and I'm very excited for this game. For week 9, I think they're going to take an interesting route, and I think they're going to go to Miami for game day, for the game between Miami versus Florida State. And I know you have Alabama versus Missouri and Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. They could very well go with one of those two teams, but I think they're going to pick an ACC game for this week. And I think this has the potential to be a top 15 matchup, and this game could really shake up the ACC title picture. These are two former Pac-12 quarterbacks playing against each other. Cam Ward for Miami and DJ Uiagalelei for Florida State. And Miami is a team on the rise, so I really think they are going to be a lot better next season. Florida State is also a team trying to remain as the best college football team in the state of Florida and in the ACC. And I would love to see this game host game day, and I think it's a high possibility for this to happen. And I'm pretty high on both of these teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if two teams from the ACC made the playoffs next season, and those two teams could very well be Miami and Florida State, because they are very talented teams. For Week 10, I think the game day appearance will be Penn State versus Ohio State. Week 10 has two huge Big Ten matchups. Michigan also plays Oregon that week as well, but I do think Penn State versus Ohio State has a little bit more stakes to it, and this is Penn State's biggest game of next season, and it's against Ohio State. And if Penn State beats Ohio State in 2024, I think it has the potential to be a program-changing win for them. And I know Penn State's already a very good program, but if they were to win this game, they would finally get over the hump of losing to Michigan and Ohio State every year, and maybe they finish 11-1 or 12-0. Maybe they are finally more than just a 10-2 team. The offense has some question marks, but I still expect an incredible game, and Beaver Stadium should be packed for this game. I don't know if Penn State can pull it off, but this is definitely a big-time showdown. For Week 11, I think Ole Miss versus Georgia will be the game day appearance. This could be a battle of two undefeated teams and possibly a top 4 matchup. This game is a massive game for Ole Miss at home. They got embarrassed last season. They lost to Georgia 52-17, and I know they still had a great season. They dominated Penn State in their bowl game to end the season, and they have a lot of momentum moving forward. They return a lot from last season, including Jackson Dart at quarterback and Trey Harris at wide receiver. They have the #1 transfer portal class in the country, adding offensive additions like Juice Wells, but more importantly, they really upgraded the defense, adding Walter Nolan and Princely U up front. I really think Ole Miss is a serious contender in the SEC, and they should be much more competitive against Georgia at home in 2024. Georgia is going to have a tough schedule, and this is Georgia's last big away game. And if Ole Miss wins this game, people would really start taking Lane Kiffin seriously. So I am very hyped for this game, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Ole Miss pulled off the upset in this game and got their revenge from last season. For Week 12, I think Georgia versus Tennessee will be the game day appearance. Week 12 doesn't have any big showdowns really, and I think this time game day will head to Athens, Georgia. Georgia has 3 games on the road against potential top 5 teams, and all 3 of those games could be game day appearances, but Georgia wouldn't be the home team. But I think Georgia deserves to host this game day appearance against Tennessee, because this should be a decent matchup and there's not many other games to pick from this week. Tennessee has a young 5-star quarterback who is Nico Iamaleava. Nico Iamaleava has massive potential, possibly the highest potential of any young quarterback in college football right now. I think Tennessee should take strides in 2024, and maybe they get back to putting up 2022 offensive numbers. I do hope this game is more competitive than last season, but regardless, I do think this game should be the Week 12 game day appearance. For Week 13, I think they're going to go with Oklahoma versus Alabama for the game day appearance. And it's crazy that this game will be played during the regular season. This game is definitely deserving of a game day appearance Week 13. It's a very interesting matchup, and it's one of those games that I am very hyped for next season. This game will be late in the season, and it could really shake up the college football playoff picture being this late in the season. Oklahoma has some concerns. They lost their whole offensive line. They have a new quarterback, but do not underestimate Brent Venables in this Oklahoma team. I do think they are on the rise. Brent Venables is recruiting at a very high level, and he's really building a defensive culture over there slowly. This defense is on the rise, and Jackson Arnold is a 5-star quarterback on the offensive side. This could be a very fun game, and Oklahoma winning this game would be huge for them. So I am very excited for this game. In Week 14, I don't think there's another game you can really choose from. I think Ohio State versus Michigan will be the game day appearance Week 14. Maybe they go a different route and go with Texas A&M versus Texas for the game day appearance, but I really don't know if Texas A&M is going to be ranked that high. And Ohio State versus Michigan has been one of the biggest games of the regular season over the last 5 years. It will be huge to have that rivalry back between Texas A&M and Texas, but there's no bigger rivalry in college football than Ohio State versus Michigan. Ohio State has lost 3 straight to Michigan, and Ryan Day is under massive pressure as the head coach. Sherrone Moore also has a lot to prove as the head coach, and he has to replace Jim Harbaugh after he led them to a national championship. The winner of this game could potentially make the Big Ten championship game, and Ohio State desperately needs to win this game at home. If they don't beat Michigan in 2024, then all of the moves Ohio State made this offseason will be for absolutely nothing. This is going to be a huge game again in 2024, and this game could have massive storylines around it. But anyways, you guys let me know what you think about my game day predictions for next season. We're over 1 month away from the start of next season, and I am very excited. College Game Day always gets you very hyped for the day, and I'm really excited for next season. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me remind you guys to like the video, and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel, because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing, and also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.